just imagining a scenario where you're just like knocking on like your neighbor's door. Can I come in and charge my phone so I can get in my house? I just need 20%.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest super entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And this week, Superman wants to give you a mustache ride.
Woo!
Woo! Deadpool's Domino starts to fall in place.
Okay.
You'll see what we're talking about later. We cannot hide from the Transformers franchise.
Okay.
We can't turn into like a toaster and hide from them. Like it's everywhere and more.
Speaking of Transformers, I think one of my favorite fan theories of how to explain the Pixar Cars universe is that they're all like stunted Transformers that just haven't been able to get out of their like car phase before. I think there's more to the theory, but like that's like part of it. Like that's kind of like why they can like speak and they have like eyes and some like appendages and stuff like that. Like they're just kind of like stuck in the car form.
That's a horrible theory, but you know what? Anything's possible at this point.
Yeah, that was a good intro. I mean, you said a mustache ride, and that kind of connects a little bit with news that we probably wouldn't talk about normally of that Super Troopers sequel finally wrapping. I don't know if they're wrapping filming or wrapping editing or something like that, but
I thought they'd be done. Like they started filming a long time ago, so my assumption is they're probably like working on effects and stuff like that, like color grading and such like that. So it's great. I mean, someone asked me. I think my wife asked me last week. She's like, "Whatever happened to that?" I'm like, "I don't know. I guess we'll see it eventually."
They're making it.
Yeah.
You usually can't hype it too much when you're in the middle of making it.
Probably not a lot of on-set photos. People are claiming for that one. Not like everything else we talk about.
Yeah, I don't think just Jared is on the set of of that movie, like trying to snap pics of who's got mustaches.
Yeah, it looks like the same set from the first one. No one's going to tell any difference on the photo. So
yeah, but speaking of movies, I finally finished watching the extended trilogy of Lord of the Rings. It's pretty much like taken me a month.
I was going to say, how long ago do you start on these three things?
Like I was able to watch the first two in one weekend. It was it took me quite a bit of time. I think it even might have been like a holiday weekend. Maybe it was like an extra day I had in there somewhere. But watching Return of the King yesterday was really fun because I realized I hadn't seen that movie since it was in theaters, and now I'm about to make you feel old, Chris. 14 years ago. Wow. That movie came out 14 years ago, and that's how long it's been since I'd seen it.
Did you feel old saying that too, or are you just trying to make me feel old?
No, I felt old saying it too. So it was just really, it was really cool because obviously I remember some of the more iconic scenes and stuff, because those movies have been like memed out of control. So I obviously remembered, Frodo, throwing the ring into Mordor, that specific scene. I knew that the ending of the movie was like 20 different endings, so I was getting ready for that. But it was really cool because once I got to the end of the movie, like I really felt like I was on like this really long ride. I guess that's one of the consequences of the extended trilogy. It does feel like you've been in the world for a lot more than maybe the theatrical cut. So like at the ending, even though I kind of knew the endings that were coming up, I was like getting emotional. I was like, oh God, Frodo, your journey. This was really tough for you and Sam, wasn't it? And I was like, oh, they saved Middle Earth. This is so great. And when you're watching these extended movies, and it had been so long since I'd seen theatrical cut, I don't really remember what was in them before and what wasn't, but I was talking to some people last night at a party, and they were filling me in on, I guess, the Overlord of Mordor, or I guess they call him Sauron's mouth.
Okay.
He was added to Return of the King. And when I was watching it yesterday, I was like, this dude looks super freaking cool. Like, his mouth is awkwardly large. This helmet's covering his face. I was like, how do I not remember this guy the first time I watched the movie, / the only time I watched the movie? He looks so cool and creepy. And, like, when he's talking, there's, like, black kind of goo, like, oozing between his teeth. And I was like, this thing is, like, creepy as hell. And he's, like, really twitchy and, like, moving around real quick. Then he gets his head chopped off, and I was like, oh, man, this is really satisfying.
Oh, well. I mean, I think it's one of those things, like, at the point in that time, I don't think I wasn't enveloped in the Lord of the Rings culture in the 2000s, like early 2000s. But like since the movies had come out, that subculture has grown so much, and those people have been able to watch it and rewatch it and like build entire wikis based on these movies. And I think that's something beneficial we live in, where people can document this stuff online now, and we're like, oh, okay, so this is everything. Like, we get it more now than we did, 14 to 15 years ago when we watched it the first time.
Yeah, one of my bigger takeaways from finishing the extended trilogy was like, this is like all really interesting stuff. I can appreciate it a lot more since, I'm not basically like a freshman in high school watching these movies. So, or I guess even some of the earlier ones could have been even like middle school possibly. But I was like, I heard that Shadow of Mordor game, I guess, is pretty good. So I don't know what time period that takes place in, but like that might be fun to play.
I actually own it.
Okay.
I actually bought it for my wife when we first got an Xbox One because I was playing a lot of Destiny. And I know she, being an English teacher, she likes Lord of the Rings, that stuff. So I got it for her, and I ended up playing it instead. And it takes place, I think, way before the movies do, because it has to deal with the elf who built the rings for Sauron.
Okay.
And like taking over this guy who's like I don't know. I guess some sort of magic. He's working with this guy, like taking over him to, fight off the orcs in this orc land. So it's before the movies is when it takes place, I believe.
Okay, that might be pretty cool.
And there's a sequel. There's a sequel coming out this fall to it as well.
Oh, cool. So I wonder if maybe that's going to be at a different time frame or maybe same characters.
It's right after the first one, so it's the same characters. But the way they do it, it's called a legacy system. So if you win or lose a battle, like that will play forward going forward. So if someone beats you, like an orc beats you, he will remind you of that when you face him later, like, whatever. Or if you cut off, like, you kill someone or you maim them in battle and they get away, like, they still have those scars later on in the game as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then that kind of gave me, like, a cool thought of, like, what does Middle Earth look like 300 or 400 years, like, after, like, all of this stuff that happened in Lord of the Rings, since they said, this new age of man is coming. It does make you wonder, like, what does Middle Earth look like? Maybe when they start to kind of, like, figure out what maybe, like, technology is a little bit. Like, that'd be some cool fan fiction. Let me know if there's some, like, comic books out there about that. That'd be cool.
Like the modern age of Lord of the Rings world kind of thing.
Yeah, that'd be cool. They kind of did that a little bit in the Avatar: The Last Airbender universe when they made the new series Legend of Korra. They advanced kind of the civilizations on this planet from kind of like basically what was in Middle Earth, kind of like old world type of stuff. And then in this new series, I think it was maybe 80 years in the future, they kind of were starting to adapt like steam technology and stuff. And so there's like these proto cars out there. So I guess if people have a thirst for that kind of stuff, watch those two series.
Isn't that what the movie Bright is kind of about? Like if Lord of the Rings like made it to today?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe Netflix is trying to quench my thirst here.
Yeah, they had their finger on your pulse, Mike. They knew exactly what you wanted, and they're like, you know what? Let's get Will Smith. Mike loves Will Smith.
But speaking all of this kind of ancient, old world, medieval stuff, you watched some medieval stuff since our last episode, right?
That's a great thing. So yes, so I watched Game of Thrones with my wife, and a little bit of backstory. I'm not a Game of Thrones fan. Anyone who knows this knows that because I watched the first season when it was out, and I just didn't get into it. I'm not, medieval like. That kind of stuff is not for Chris, first and foremost. So I watched the first season. I'm like, okay, not into this. I'm not going to pick it up. Then, after the first season, everybody started watching Game of Thrones. So everyone's like, oh, you don't like it because it's popular. I'm like, no, I don't like it because I just didn't like it when it came out. So, so I skipped seasons 2, 3, and 4, and then I started watching again with my wife in season 5, which I think was a great time jump for me because I'm like, these are the only people who matter. Everybody else apparently has died along the way. So if they're alive now, they're important, right? So I was able to watch this week's episode early. Season 7, episode 4 leaked online a little early due to some people, I guess, hijacking HBO servers.
Yes, and please don't spoil anything because I'm watching it tonight.
No, I don't want to spoil anything, but I want to tell you out of 7 years of Game of Thrones episode, this is the first one I've truly ever enjoyed.
Oh, wow.
So I have to give this episode a crisp stamp of approval because it had me on the edge of my seat. I was loving it. It was finally something in this show that I really enjoyed. So
yes, so obviously we don't really talk too much about Game of Thrones on Superhero Slate because we're concentrating on superhero stuff. And if you have an appetite for like after shows or podcasts about Game of Thrones, there's so many of them out there because it's like the biggest show on air right now. So we don't really need to fill that need. But this season of Game of Thrones has been really crazy because they're kind of in this position where like the showrunners like, hey, we don't want to do 10 episode seasons. It's just too much freaking work. But obviously you're still going to give us the same amount of money to make 7 episodes or 6. I don't remember what it is.
It's 7 this year, 6 next year.
Yeah. So they're just condensing everything down, trying to get to this inevitable conclusion of the series. So man, like every episode has had like, this season has some sort of like awesome thing that usually you have to wait until like episode 8 and you only get once per season. So like this season has been like firing off like crazy and I love it. It's almost like one of the best ways you can send a show off into the sunset is just like cranking it till 11 the last 2 seasons. So I've been really enjoying it.
So what I've noticed, compared to seasons 1 and later on, they don't show a lot of people traveling anymore. Like they're just like they're there, great. Move on with the story, and I really enjoyed the quicker pace later in these seasons. But with episode 4, we are halfway through the show this year, so I was very impressed with what they did, and I just had to give it a good shout out for once in the show's history. I really had a good time.
Well, now you've really overhyped the episode tonight, and it's going to be really weird because we are able to watch the show out here on HBO now at 6 o'clock our time over here on the West Coast, and then as soon as it's over, we'll be heading to a viewing party to watch the new Sharknado 5.
Oh,
so I'm going to be going. Wow. I'm going to be going from very polarizing types of entertainment, from like high quality prestige television to just like TV movie about sharks in a tornado.
Well, the movie that keeps you guys living fairly well in LA. So
fairly well. I think that's an overstatement.
Well, but at least when you get home, you at least get another new episode of Rick and Morty. So
yeah, there we go. I got that to watch.
You've got a Sharknado sandwich going on here.
So there's some different ranges of entertainment tonight, but that's not what we're here to talk about, is it, Chris?
No, it's not. So we're gonna jump into some superheroes. You get a little slice of life from us this week because I mean, there's a lot of news, but I mean, nothing groundbreaking. So groundbreaking, one of the hottest topics for the past, I believe, 2 weeks, and it's the first time we're talking about it this week, is Mustache-gate on Justice League.
I love this news so much because I love everything about it because it really only affects the rich studios, and it just gives us fans just something funny to look at, like pictures of Henry Cavill in his Superman costume with a mustache.
So to break it down for people, Henry Cavill is currently filming Mission Impossible 6. And he is the villain in that movie, and every good villain has to have a mustache, right? That's usually how it goes.
He looks really badass, too. I think that an image of him came out a couple weeks ago, but he's, like, hanging out of, like, a helicopter, I think, with his, like, mustache. He kind of looks like Archer with a mustache from Archer on FX.
Yeah, it's like a very thick top, upper lip mustache, and the rest is kind of scruffy around him. I want to say it's kind of like you imagine Eastern European, like Russian kind of mustaches. So he's on filming that, and I forget who owns Mission Impossible 6.
I want to say it's Universal.
Okay, it's Tom Cruise, so it's probably Universal. So he's out there filming that, but also we know there's extensive reshoots for Justice League going on right now with Joss Whedon taking over, and Warner Brothers. Somehow Henry Cavill is able to keep his schedule to do both of these movies right now. 2 huge movies. So, like, this guy's coming up out of nowhere. But the deal is, when you're filming the same movie, like one week, one the next week, you can't grow a mustache back that fast. I don't care who you are.
Even Superman can't grow a mustache.
No, he can't. So the deal came down to Warner Brothers like, we need him back for shoots, and we're probably gonna have him shave the mustache. And Universal was like, wait a minute, No. So what is happening here is these studios have come to an agreement where someone is going to get either a CGI baby face or a CGI mustache. And who do you think won out on this one?
Oh, I know who won out on it, and that's what makes the news the best, is Warner Brothers has to deal with the mustache.
Yes, so Warner Brothers lost, and they will be spending millions of dollars, probably building a whole company to CGI off Henry Cavill's mustache for his reshoots in Justice League as Superman.
Oh my god, and it's so great because it's so much easier to go the other way. I mean, if for some reason these studios could get along, they'd be like, Warner Bros. Would be like, we will spend $1 million on the most highest quality prosthetic mustache that there is on the planet. You know, we'll pay a dude from Russia to grow the mustache, and then we'll finally pluck every hair and like put it on like a backing so it's just like identical. And they would still save money if they did that. But I love how Universal is like, no, it's in the contract. He's keeping that fucking stash.
Yeah, he's on our schedule first. So
yeah,
it's so funny, and it's blown up where everyone's like, what's going on? Is Superman gonna have a mustache? So on and so forth. So it definitely would have been way easier to put a fake one on him and then touch it up a little bit in post to make it match than to remove an entire mustache the other way. So it's not a knock against Warner Brothers and Justice League, but man, I'm going to be looking so hard for those mustaches.
Oh yeah, it's going to be so great. Yeah, like how is there going to be like how many frames of animation in Justice League? Is there going to be like a stray hair just kind of like floating under his nose? I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean the best part is they've not even announced Superman's in the movie yet. So like if you didn't know, well now you do, and now you know he's going to have a fake face on while he's doing that the whole time.
Yeah, one of the best repercussions is some of the fan cut trailers of Batman Superman where they've been adding mustaches to Superman,
like little like villainous mustaches from like like Wacky Racers, like the Dick Dastardly mustaches. They're like curly and trolled up. Oh man,
this is the best kind of news. That's kind of like one of the reasons why Hollywood is just like fun sometimes.
Yeah, and that's a great way to kick off our show. We like having some good news to jab out a little bit there. So we're gonna switch gears. We're still saying DC, but the Wonder Woman movie has a release date, possibly, Mike, if you're looking to pick that up and watch it at home. The digital releases August 29th, with the physical being September 19th. So at the end of this month, you may be able to download you a copy of Wonder Woman.
Yeah, we'll have to pick up some Wonder Woman because apparently she's turning into basically the Iron Man of the Warner Brothers universe.
They're just gonna forget the other three happened. This is where our universe starts, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
No looking back. Oh, I mean that's good for her. Like I said, it was a good movie. It's a good time. I've never purchased a DC Extended Universe movie yet because I don't know, like the way they did like the extended Ultimate cuts, and then there's a Suicide Squad.
I did, Chris. Every time I open up my iTunes library and I just see the extended version of Batman vs Superman up there in the corner, I'm just like, God damn it! If I didn't do this podcast, I never would have had to buy that.
Can you right click and hide it? Is there like a secret stash of digital movies? Like,
oh, I probably should look into that.
the back room, wink, wink, hint, hint. But yeah, so that's coming out. I mean, I've never bought one. Do you think they're gonna do an extended cut of Wonder Woman, like a special, I don't think they have to because it was a good movie. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I think it'll sell.
I don't either, but no one was clamoring for a better Suicide Squad cut that didn't really make it better. So I just didn't know if they'd be like, we're gonna do this in every movie from now on, kind of deal. But I guess not. Yeah, we'll wing it. After that, we might get another chance to see Wonder Woman team up with the Flash in the Flashpoint movie. Some news here: the movie is to feature Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman again, and maybe some other superhero team ups. Are you familiar with the Flashpoint storyline?
Yeah, so Flashpoint, basically, he goes back in time. I believe it's maybe to selfishly save his mother, or maybe he goes back in time. I think maybe
you're right.
Animated. Yeah, I thought in the animated movie he goes back in time by accident, but maybe I'm just not recalling correctly. But he goes back in time and he like screws up the timeline.
Yeah, so if the TV version has a watered down version of it, he goes back in time to stop his mother from being killed from the Reverse Flash. And then he creates this alternate future where a lot of things are different. Like Batman is technically Bruce Wayne's dad, Thomas Wayne, and the Joker was his mom.
Yeah. And that is kind of funny. The most memorable part about Flashpoint is Batman. So it's like, it's just another Batman movie.
Yeah, I read it when it came out, and I wasn't feeling it as well at the moment. And I think that kicked off the New 52 universe. It created a whole comics thing, but so they're looking at this. Maybe to rewrite the universe. I mean, we did see the scene when the Flash came back in Batman v Superman to talk to Batman.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
So, but having Wonder Woman, Cyborg, all these other people show up, and that would be kind of cool. But also, the report said they're aiming for a 2020 release for Flashpoint. So they're looking to have average out Wonder Woman being in the movies pretty much every year. She will not be in one next year, but having 2 this year. She'll be a staple for the DC extended universe.
Yeah, well, because like we got a character here that's working, so we gotta pepper in through all the movies. But also, Flashpoint is kind of one of those movies when you think about like team ups and groups, kind of like how we thought of Civil War. Like, Civil War for Marvel wouldn't work if they didn't have all those heroes in it. Flashpoint's kind of the same way. Like, what's the point of like changing history or doing something alternate if you don't have the other characters in it to see how they would change? So it makes sense that you would see, Batman, Wonder Woman possibly in
well, I got to give them some applause here for being bold enough to be like, if we're gonna do Flashpoint, we're gonna show people an alternate universe, and Marvel hasn't really done that yet. They've shown us the universe as it is, and not minus the scenes where Tony quote unquote saw the future kind of thing. To build to show a whole new universe where like this could potentially happen is kind of groundbreaking in these universe building worlds. And I'd be okay with that. I'm very much okay and on board with this because I think.
Well, the funny thing is that you bring that up. So Infinity War Part 2 should be 2019, and if Flashpoint is 2020, there's a chance that Marvel could be doing some crazy stuff with Infinity Gems and maybe rebooting some universes and doing alternate stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a chance that maybe Marvel beats DC to the punch with Flashpoint, which would kind of take some of the wind out of their sails. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. I would think this was a bizarre idea and it couldn't work, but Fox kind of pulled it off, surprisingly, with X-Men, with Days of Future Past. Obviously, it fell off the rails soon after that, but it worked in Days of Future Past, so maybe it can work with DC.
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, the superhero movies, when they have the opportunity to go into fantastical and what ifs and all these other scenarios, because it's not real. Like someone sending someone back through their mind in the past. It's not real, right? But it's fun. It's comic booky. And it can create all sorts of great stories that, we're not stuck in the current timeline and we have to fit in. So,
and when you have to recast Batman, you don't really have many options.
Yeah. So if they want to do a reboot and restructure themselves in 2020, by God, here's their out right now. So they got that going for them. Bad news for Suicide Squad 2. The director, Jaume Collet-Serra, I don't know, moves on to the movie Jungle Cruise based on the Disney ride starring The Rock, and there's no directors attached to Suicide Squad 2.
Well, I think when you're a director and you have a chance to hit yourself to The Rock, you do it because whether the movie's good or not, he's going to bring people to your movie because it's Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So yeah. I'm not surprised. And then also that puts you underneath the Disney umbrella. And that's the umbrella you want to be under in Hollywood. So
it's a very safe bet. You're going to make money and probably get another film after being on that. So, I mean, that's cool. I mean, I don't know I don't know anyone clamoring for a Suicide Squad 2. We kind of talked about this a little bit. There's the Gotham City Sirens movie. But I don't know. I mean, to me, so be it. They didn't have it on their panel at San Diego Comic-Con, and that's all right with me. Another one they didn't have is the confirmed Nightwing movie as well.
Yeah.
And the director came out and to talk about that today. He's like, Chris McKay, the director, said the movie's still in development, even though it wasn't on a DC's San Diego Comic-Con panel, because he didn't want to feel like he was backed into a release date to release the movie when he just wants to make the movie, when it's a good movie.
Now, this could be an interesting story that they could tell in the cinematic universe of Warner Brothers that, maybe some other places won't have the opportunity of. You have your Nightwing movie, you make us fall in love with the character Nightwing and his struggle and everything that he's trying to do for the city, and then maybe segue his character into picking up the cowl of Batman. So maybe we show a character becoming Batman instead of just recasting Batman. That might be kind of cool.
It might be. I mean, and do you think, just kind of start with Nightwing and then just move him right into Batman? Or, I mean, to me, Nightwing usually stands stronger by himself. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can go
I don't know. Maybe he'll feel this sense of responsibility that, maybe he feels like the symbol of Batman is just stronger than he could ever be as Nightwing. So maybe he feels like it needs to come back to the city. I don't know. There could be some interesting stuff that happens there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot we don't know, and when we don't know, I usually feel a little better about the movie. So, with Nightwing, we'll talk about maybe you're right. Maybe he'll become Batman, whoever they cast, because there's also the Titans TV show that Warner Brothers is working on.
Yeah, that's right.
That will be on their DC streaming service whenever that comes out. They have some casting news for that. The actress Teagan Croft from the show, I believe, Home and Away, has been cast as Rachel Roth, also known as Raven.
Have never heard of her before.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to cast a lot of people we know for these Titan project. Probably go low budget, But you're familiar with Raven from watching the Teen Titans show, right?
Yeah, from the animated TV show. I think that's probably a lot of people's way into the Teen Titans was that first animated series. They've had to have like comic books, and I think they're even coming out with like an animated movie soon that's kind of more mature.
Okay.
And then there's also maybe rumors out there that maybe the animated series could come back. I'm not sure since they're doing this live action version. But Raven was a cool character.
So Raven is currently, there's a show Teen Titans Go, which is on, and she... this is the description. You tell me if this is right or if it matches up with what you know. Is that Raven is the daughter of a demon and a powerful empath who must keep her emotions in check or risk unleashing her demonic side.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty badass. She's pretty monotone. So that's probably her keeping herself in check.
So from what I've seen, and mostly cartoon stills and pop vinyls, is she wears a hoodie and has like a dark face, and you can like see her eyes and mouth usually. Mm-hmm. And she's just very like no nonsense kind of a character. Does that sound about right? I mean, you have more exposure to her than I do, so I'm just winging it here.
Back in the day, the easy description would have just been she's emo, mainly because of the way she looks and kind of the way she talks.
Hot topic, girl. Got
it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, I mean, does if they keep her true to this, does that have you more interested in Titans than you would before?
I'm kind of curious if there's going to be any familiar faces with the casting, especially with I don't know if they're going to go with like Robin or Nightwing. I guess Robin, since it would be kind of confusing if they put Nightwing in this TV show also. I'm curious to see how the rest of the cast rounds out and maybe what grouping that they're going to go with, because I think sometimes the Teen Titans group can change, so I don't think it necessarily has to be Cyborg, Beast Boy, Raven, Starfire, and Robin like it was in the animated show. And it would be weird to have Cyborg in there since he's also in the universe. So it's going to have to be a little bit of a different team.
Okay, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've seen DC, like, they have a Flash TV show and they're working on a Flash movie. I don't know. We'll see how they play it out. But I definitely know Beast Boy, I think, it's like, yeah, they're gonna definitely have Beast Boy in there, because I don't think they're gonna give him his own movie. If I was a betting man. Speaking of DC TV shows, Arrow, the producer said they're working actively on season 7, even though season 6 is coming out this year. So do you think they're getting a little antsy here with it, or what?
Well, I guess that just goes to show you that the CW has enough belief in the show that it's going to go at least 2 more seasons. I think if anybody is a longtime listener to this show, they know that I checked out of Arrow last season for good. So I don't think anything's going to bring me back to Arrow unless Oliver Queen dies and they just kind of reboot the show. I don't think they need to reboot the universe, but maybe just like bring in a new Arrow, just recast them, and just kind of redo it all over again.
Yeah, it'd be hard to recast the universe now they've got all these other shows that exist in there. But definitely with the ability of the Flash and the Legends of Tomorrow, they could find another world and timeline and kick it off that way. Also, on that note, DC, the Greg Berlanti, I believe, who's put all these shows on DC, including Black Lightning, says he has no plans to add another one next year. I don't believe him.
We don't believe you, Greg.
Yeah, look. You every year you've added a new TV show, and how many are we at now? 5.
Oh god, yeah, enough for every day of the week.
Did he was he in charge of Constantine? I don't remember.
I don't think he was, just because I think that was NBC to start out with.
Well, Supergirl was CBS though. Nope. Constantine. Nope, it was not. It was by Daniel Cerrone and David Goyer. So
it's Goyer, damn it.
No, we can't win. Yeah, I don't see his name on here, thankfully. So I guess Constantine, definitely. I think they say they're looking to put him in Legends of Tomorrow next season, like a little bit. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know any other shows they could exploit too well. But they brought this obscure Black Lightning character to the front.
Yeah,
so,
we'll have to see if that pays off for him.
Yeah, definitely. So that's our DC news for the show. You got quite a bit of it wrapped up in there. A really fun one. I like that. Another one, we're going to switch over to TV. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming back this spring, I guess January, for its 5th season, I believe. Mm-hmm. And a on-set video from the actress Chloe Bennett was talking about doing workouts in between scenes. It's very distracting video, Mike. That's why I only have the screenshot. As you can tell from the screenshot, in the back, this blue-skinned guy, who looks like Yondu, if I was going to be honest, walks by, kind of confirming maybe the Kree will make a reappearance this season.
Yeah, I think this type of image is just hilarious, because you don't know if it's staged. I'm assuming it's not, because you just have Yo-Yo and I guess her name's Quake now on the show. You have Yo-Yo and Quake touching each other's butts on
their butts are touching. They're not touching butts. The butts are touching
in front of stage 15. It looks like, and yeah, it looks like a casual Yondu is just walking by in the background. But we all know there's no reason for Yondu to be on a set anywhere anymore. Mm-hmm. I guess spoilers, but so you think, you go, what's the other blue people that could be involved? And you do say Kree, and I love that. Like, that's how you find out what's going to be in a show, is based on what's in the background, because that's always what, like, everybody's always dreaming of when they see, like, these videos or pictures go up online, like, oh, what's in the background? And it's always nothing. But no, we got a blue guy in the background.
Yeah, this was like halfway through the video, and he just kind of walks by while they're, like, talking about doing squats and stuff like that, like working out. And he's too much like Yondu for me to kind of believe it for a second. Because we have seen Kree in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. since, I believe, season 1. There's one in a tube at Project Tahiti. There were 2 that came down, I believe, a couple seasons ago from Earth's orbit to fight the Inhumans.
Yeah, so, during that the Hive season.
Yeah. So so there's that. And, at the end of season 4 of S.H.I.E.L.D., spoiler alert, they end up in space. So where the Kree are. So I think, there's a high chance they're going to be it, but he just looks too much like Yondu for me to feel comfortable saying that.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess you had seen the video, so I don't know if you get a chance to see the top of his head, but I guess in this specific screenshot, you can't even tell if he has the fin on his head. Yeah,
it was hard. It was very hard to tell when he walked by. I mean, they're moving around the whole time. They're not just standing like that while he walks by. So, yeah, definitely. I think the Kree are cool. Again, Captain Marvel is supposedly going to have the Kree Skrull War in it coming up. I think Marvel's gonna get a lot of space stuff coming on pretty soon in the future. So, I don't know. You excited to see Kree back in the show? I mean, that gonna keep you going through at least one more season?
I just want to see Sword, man. I want to see Sword come to this universe, and I want to see how they pull it off. I don't know if it's going to be through television or through movies, but I want some sort of established force of humans in space. Okay. Because that means it's just easier for us to just, like, go on fun adventures.
I think we just merge Men in Black into the Marvel Universe, really. And that's how we handle it.
Yeah, there you go.
So there's that. Also from space, involving the Kree, would be the Inhumans TV show coming up.
Here we go.
And there's a review embargo in place, so much so that this first impression wasn't even a review, really. An impression was being removed from websites all over the internet by ABC. The first episode impression from this person in this review embargo, let me tell you, it sucks. So it's bad. Like, it's bad. This is from the pilot episode, so I don't know if it's either the first episode or what's going to be in theaters. I don't know. He didn't say, but it does not come off as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we should just go ahead and read it here real quick. It says, quote, simply awful. I'm so disappointed since I generally love everything Marvel does, but this is absolutely terrible. The dialogue is atrocious. The fight sequences are shockingly choreographed. The sets, or more so obvious, the green screen, aren't that crash hot either. Okay, I've never heard someone say crash hot before. That's interesting. Its only saving grace is Lockjaw, who is adorable. As one of the few people who actually liked Iron Fist, wow, that's surprising, I can easily say this is Scott Buck's worst work yet. So that almost gives this critique some credibility. This is coming from a person that liked Iron Fist.
It sets a whole new level of low.
Yeah, exactly. Even if you can find a way to like Iron Fist, you're not going to like Inhumans from this person's point of view. Yeah, and that's not good.
Yeah. So, again, that's the first episode. A lot of people have been very supportive of me. And like, but that's just the first episode, Chris. The rest could be great. And like, I guess... it took S.H.I.E.L.D. several seasons to get off the ground, not eight episodes.
Yeah, but so S.H.I.E.L.D.'s in what season now? 6?
It will be 5. It's one behind the arrow, yeah.
So that was 5 years ago that first season came out. It does make you wonder if TV shows even are going to have that chance anymore to stick around to even try to find its footing, because I do give TV a lot more leeway than I would a movie. You know, the first episode, even maybe the first half season, I can kind of maybe look past and try to get into, you know, because usually it's by like, I think episode 6 before like the writing staff even starts to get feedback from out there in the real world of what's going on. So usually they can kind of like adjust. So, but yeah, this isn't good news, man.
Yeah, it's not good news, and that's fine. I'm still gonna try to keep my hopes up and go in, but it's not looking like this is what we deserved.
Yeah, I saw online this morning trying to Google and find this review that was removed everywhere. I guess Scott Buck has been out there in the world telling people to make sure that you see this in IMAX and not watch it on your phone. So it makes me think he's worried that, people are just going to watch his show on their phones and they're going to judge it wrongly based on the screen size.
I think my thing is I think IMAX is probably telling him to say that, because since IMAX is footing the bill, they're probably like, tell people don't wait to watch this at home. Tell them to go to the theater because we're specifically doing this for this. So that's my theory on that. But I also agree, don't watch anything on your fucking phones, people. TV shows, movies, whatever. Just open up a new tab, put it in the background, small it on your screen, but don't watch it on your phone.
Well, I mean, I could see where you're coming from with a big spectacle. You do want to. I'm sure Christopher Nolan doesn't want you watching Dunkirk on your iPhone, but at the same time, the story of whatever you're watching should be good enough to translate to a small screen. Some people, some people out there in like developing countries can only have the resources to get a smartphone because they do everything on it, literally everything on it. Like they run their businesses on their smartphones and they can't afford a big TV. So you might only be able to watch Dunkirk on your phone or Inhumans on your phone. So Scott Buck, I hope your story's good enough that it looks good on a phone.
I don't think those people are paying for it either, Mike. I think piracy and torrenting runs rampant in third world countries. So I think you can probably go down to the corner and pick up the VHS copy that someone filmed at the IMAX. And
oh man, VHS.
Yeah. So I mean, the review impressions aren't good. I'm still gonna see it. I'm gonna watch it through. But on that note, I don't have this in our show notes. This could maybe leave the door open and some budget for Agent Carter to come back.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Her show was recently canceled. That she had. I forget what it was even called. But the whole reason that she met with the president of Marvel Studios I can't think of his name. He shared the pictures of Thanos the other day. Man, it's gonna drive me nuts. He directed most of the shorts, the one shots already, including her big one. So they said that ABC wanted to pull her to a bigger name show off of Agent Carter. Well, if that's gone and Inhumans bombs, Agent Carter might come back and get that third, small 8-episode season.
That might be kind of cool. So I'd like to see her again.
That might be a saving grace here. So knock on wood that maybe those talks with her and that president are gonna be fruitful. So
I do like the progression that you've had about the Inhumans like this last year, Chris, or even this whole podcast that we've been recording. At first, you were super hyped because I think we talked about it, the Inhumans coming to the cinematic universe, and then we didn't hear too much about it anymore. And then now it's being relegated to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and television, and you're like, okay, I'm still on board with this. and then we start to see the trailers and we start to hear the footage, and you're like, no, I'm still on Team Inhuman. This is going to be awesome. It's going to be an IMAX, man. And then now you're starting to come around and be like, hey, well, we might get Agent Carter out of it if it doesn't end up being good. So trying to find that silver lining.
I'm just trying to stay positive here, Mike. We live in a world where we can be picky about our superhero TV shows and be, if this one doesn't work, so what? The next one's just going to pop up anyway. So I'm glad we live in that world of good stuff. But I mean, at the same time, I blame a lot of the Inhumans on the president of Marvel Entertainment, Ike Perlmutter, and I believe you did a little research on him recently.
Oh yeah,
he's kind of a dick, all around worst person ever in charge of Marvel. He is the one who canceled Fantastic Four comics because of the movies, like kind of person, like, and his big push for film was the Inhumans project. So I think his push is what's causing this to come through, even though everybody was like, we're not ready for it yet. So to hell with you, Ike, even if you're listening. So anyway, Star Wars Episode 9, not Episode 8, Mike. We're going to jump a whole movie forward. Has enlisted Jack Thorne, a writer. He wrote the movie Wonder, to rewrite on the film. The original... To preface this, the original Episode 9 script was done by Colin Trevorrow, the treatment, who's doing Episode 8. And then I believe, is that right? No, Ryan Johnson did it. Colin Trevorrow is the director of 9. Him and his buddy worked on it, and then Jack Thorne will go through and finish it up. So everyone was like, oh no, they're rewriting it. I'm like, they're not rewriting the whole movie. Like, they're just working on it more. And if they got time in Star Wars world, why not,
Yeah, I mean, this is technically the last film of this story arc, of these 3 films. So I guess they got to make sure it's on point,
Yeah, and it is one of those things where it's like it's got to wrap up a lot of stuff. So I think that's fine. I think more eyes on it usually works out better than just one person doing the whole thing.
Yeah, I really hope Star Wars this December really knocks it out of the park. Just because I feel like my legs have gotten a little wobbly. Just because we left Rogue One in awe because of that awesome ending scene, but the whole story as a whole doesn't really sit with us too well. And then you start thinking back to Force Awakens, and you're like, oh, that movie was super fun, awesome seeing Harrison Ford again, love the new characters, but it basically was just A New Hope retold with a bigger Death Star. So I'm really hoping this next Star Wars movie just kind of puts us in a whole new story. We just really jump into our new characters, and we can just really bathe in this newness of Star Wars.
Yeah, I feel confident in that. I think, again, Star Wars, the first one was to rebuild faith after the prequels, and then this one's like, you know what? We've got their trust. Let's tell our story. So
yeah, and they might have to hit us really strong, because we might have to fumble through the Han Solo movie before we get to Episode 9.
That's true, but this one's also Carrie Fisher's last movie, so it has a lot of writing on it as well. So we got that going. Some internet controversy, as is tradition, over this next thing. Deadpool 2 has shared the first official images of Zazie Beetz as Domino. And a lot of people are kind of up in arms, and some people are not up in arms. I'm not up in arms over this, Mike. But I gotta tell you, the first one, it's a little, to me, the first thing I thought of was the movie Spaceballs, with John Candy's character, Barf the Mog. But because she's obviously an African American person with a white eye patch, whereas in the comic she's pale white with a dark black eye patch. I don't care. The movies are going to be good anyway. But the white eye patch reminds me of like the dog's eye patch from there. So
yeah. Well, the thing that's great about the Deadpool movies is there's a chance that Deadpool might directly address people that are upset about this casting or this look in the movie while you're watching it, which is really great. And I also like the idea where when he like meets Domino, he might be like, he might say you look like Barf from Spaceballs, and we might all have a good laugh, and then she'll like kick him in the nuts or something like that, or she'll cut his arm off or shoot him in the leg, And I like that they can just do that in this universe that they're making. But I didn't even really know that there was controversy around her look. Like when the images dropped earlier this week, I was like, oh no, she looks awesome. I'm totally fine with it. And actually, this was kind of almost like a logical conclusion. Like when she was cast, I think I saw some fan art that looked really similar to this. I mean, it's just like she doesn't have a whole lot of like fantastical look to her. She doesn't really have like a costume necessarily. It's just basically all of the thing around her face. So it's like there's only really two ways you can do it, you either invert it or do it the way it was in the comic book. So I think she looks really cool.
Yeah, I think she looks really cool. And the first one, and the second image is an homage to the very first Deadpool image we got. It was her laying in front of a fireplace, but using Deadpool's suit as like a bearskin rug.
Yeah,
which is really fun. So there's that going on. For those people who don't know, Domino, her name is Nina Thurman in the comic books, and she has she's really good at she's excellent marksmanship, hand-to-hand skills, great mercenary level kind of person, but she possesses probability altering powers. So she can I don't know how they're going to show that off, but she can work things out in her favor kind of thing, or to the odds to be in her favor for what she's working on. So, other than that, yeah, I'm fine with this. This doesn't bother me at all. I'm totally on board. Deadpool, I have full faith in them. They have fun. Negasonic Teenage Warhead doesn't match her comic book part, and nobody complained about that then. So
yeah, exactly. So chill out, people.
Chill out, man. Chill out. Let it ride. X-Men Dark Phoenix is filming. Mike, we can't escape it. Jessica Chastain has confirmed her role as Lilandra, Queen of the Shi'ar Empire, for the film. So she's showing up there on set. So that's cool with me.
I'm really interested. Obviously, I'm not looking forward to the movie, but I'm really interested to see how they pull off her look visually. One of my favorite things about live-action superhero adaptations is seeing how the costume pans out, especially depending whether they're working with a movie budget or a TV budget. So, and since this is taking place in the 80s, 90s? I don't
90s.
Remember. 90s. So I like to think maybe they'll kind of use 90s science fiction influence to design her costume. So she might not look futuristic. She might kind of look like future retro, and I'm kind of curious how chrome they're gonna go. So I think she could look really cool.
Yeah, she's kind of like a bell-shaped head or hairline kind of going on there. Mm-hmm. And but I mean, this is again another chance where Fox is kind of breaking the mold. They're going into space a little bit. Marvel has Guardians, but I think leaving Earth and taking the mutants to space is a huge difference, a huge needed change for the Fox franchise that has arguably run the longest, I think, out of anything.
Arguably, yeah.
The quality is not the best by any means, but it has been around since.
They're shooting for that quantity over quality.
Yeah, definitely going for that. So I'm okay with this. Send them to space and meet the Shi'ar. Let's see what goes on here. So I'm down with this. A couple weeks ago, I believe it was at our Comic-Con episode, we talked about a Doctor Doom movie possibly in works at Fox. And we're not going to talk about the emotions that made us feel, but the actor Mads Mikkelsen, who you might know from Rogue One and Doctor Strange, is interested in the role of Doctor Doom.
I actually think that would be really cool. I like that idea. He is very menacing. He looks like he'd be a pretty good bad guy, and I think he might be a good Doctor Doom.
Yeah, and Doctor Doom is in the leader of the country Latveria, which I believe is also Eastern European. So he kind of has that look already about him. He's kind of scary. I believe he played Hannibal on the TV show for several years. It's kind of an unsettling guy to deal with, yeah.
You know what I don't get about Doctor Doom? So Doctor Doom is he's a force to reckon with in the Marvel Universe. He's a big baddie that usually takes a lot to take him down. He's a big ruler of his own country and everything, and he knows his technology, and does he have magic too?
He kind of mixes technology with magic, making him that very, very dangerous person. Yeah,
so it's just in the two Fantastic Four franchises that we've had so far, why did they have to do Doctor Doom in the very first movie? It could have been cool to build up to him because he's such a badass.
Well, I think the problem with that is when Fox looks at these, all four, even the unreleased Fantastic Four movies, Doctor Doom has been the villain because Doctor Doom is integrated into the origin of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, they could always just push that off.
I totally agree. They could work their way around it, but I think that's why they keep looking at that very hard, with a microscope. No, he has to be here for this to work, and he really doesn't. So I definitely agree with that. I think Doctor Doom's great. I saw an image of Doctor Doom cosplay versus his movie from 2015 the other day, and same with Apocalypse. How the cosplay is much better than the final product. I forgot how bad he looked in that movie. So,
Chris, I think what we need to do is we need to find out legally how long Fox has to make another Fantastic Four movie before it reverts back to Marvel. And we need to find a way to delay the movie. Is there anything that we can do as two people to just maybe go in there and I don't know, spill some coffee or just put some fish in the air vents? Is there any sort of hijinks that we can do to delay this movie from coming out to where we can just get it back in Marvel's hands?
I think we can also make a movie about it. Get our four people together and pull our own Fantastic Four movie off to delay their Fantastic Four movie. I think it's 7 years. I think it might be 7 years. But I don't know because it's very weird because 94 because they made the movie in 94 they never released just to keep the rights and then they never released it. So it's definitely been a very, very fun ride to see that. So hopefully it comes back sooner than later and they just kind of give up on it. We're going to talk about some more movies that are the comic books that aren't main properties here, but Hellboy coming up. Rise of the Blood Queen is no longer the subtitle technically, so it's just being called Hellboy again, which I think might be to maybe reduce confusion. Is this a sequel or is it a continuation or is it a reboot? So I think that's a smart move. So they're no longer using the subtitle Rise of the Blood Queen, and they've added the actor Ian McShane as Professor Broom. Ian McShane from American Gods. I forget what other else. I guess he was in the Pirates 4 movie that I slept through as Blackbeard. But Professor Broom is the person who finds Hellboy and raises him. And he was played by John Hurt in the original movies. So
he's like the adopted daddy. I think that'd be Ian McShane has a cool presence, so I'd welcome him into a rated R Hellboy movie.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he something about him, man. He just knows how to bring seriousness, and you're like, okay, I'm going to take him seriously now, kind of thing. So I agree with that. Another comic property called the Eternal Warrior, it sounds like some sort of wrestling name in my book, is to be played by Dave Bautista in the movie version. And Eternal Warrior is a Valiant Comics character who apparently he was an old warrior from way back when, and he died, and he was resurrected, but now he finds out he can't die, so that's why he's the Eternal Warrior. He can die, but he's brought back to life, and he feels like he remembers everything, the pain, whatever happened to him.
This just already everything that's being described about this movie sounds like something that's probably gonna release in March, and no one's gonna go see it.
It needs a better name, I think. But apparently this character, it's also related to other properties they're working on Valiant. Archer and Armstrong film they're working on. Apparently it's the brother to one of these characters. Whether it's Archer or Armstrong, I don't remember. So Valiant's kind of trying to build their connected universe up a little bit as well, but they're not doing very well in my book. So I think they still have a one shot. No, not one shot. There's a web series that we're working on, and we talked about some images the other day. So, so I don't know. Mike doesn't sound sold, so never mind.
I mean, good luck building a franchise on characters that no one really knows. So
it's gonna be very hard. But a franchise people do know is Aladdin, Mike, and they've cast the actor Marwan Kenzari as Jafar. He's from the Mummy movie, and he'll be debuting bigger in Murder on the Orient Express later this year as well. So
yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's live action, so it wouldn't just be a voice. Yeah, so just doing a quick Google search, I guess, yeah, he could be Jafar, sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to need a little more. I guess they're going to have to make him look like it. So, but I mean, that's fine with me. I mean, sure, why not?
Yeah,
I'm not.
We're all waiting on that Aladdin and Jasmine casting right now.
Yeah, don't they? Do they not have those? I don't remember.
No, I thought it's just been the Genie and Jafar so far. Maybe they did cast
Jasmine. Jasmine is a girl from Power Rangers, and
yeah, that's right. Did they? I don't think they've cast Aladdin yet, have they?
Let me see here. I'm just gonna do a quick Google. Yeah, they have it. They have it right here.
Wow.
I can't remember his name because I don't know him off the top of my head. But do you remember who the genie is?
Yeah, it's Will Smith.
Will Smith. There you go.
I guess that's one of the consequences when you're trying to cast a movie accurately to the region that it's in, which is good, but you're gonna get actors that no one really knows.
Yeah, so the first actor, the guy who's playing Aladdin, is Mena Massoud, and he's a relatively unknown actor with a thin resume. So there you go. And then the other one is Naomi Scott, who was in Power Rangers as that. So,
I hope this movie's good.
It starts filming this month. It's from Guy Ritchie, and again, like his last movie, it wasn't good, but his King Arthur movie didn't offend me in any way. so he's got that going for him. So I mean, the Aladdin cast, I mean, they're much farther along in this movie than I thought they'd ever be. So I guess we can look forward to pop vinyls coming out of these characters, Mike.
That's all Chris ever thinks about is the pop vinyl.
That Will Smith genie is going to be weird to look at. So
I feel like if you were an executive of a movie studio, you'd start hearing pitches and you'd be like, I don't think that movie's going to make a good pop vinyl. Next.
What about Pop Vinyls the movie, Mike? I mean, the Emoji movie's working out. Where's Pop Vinyls the movie?
No.
I probably just jinxed it. Now it's going to happen. If you were going to do the genie, though, in Aladdin, would you do him live action Will Smith, or would you make him cartoon animated?
I think he's got to be CG.
Okay.
I feel like Will Smith is probably going to do like the motion capture, and you might see some of his like facial expressions kind of shine through a little bit. But yeah, I can't imagine it's just going to look like a blue Will Smith.
I imagine it's going to be a lot like Shaq in that Shazam movie that never really happened.
Okay, sure.
You know what I'm talking about? There's I don't know what it's called, but either way, I don't know. Hopefully it comes out well. So cross fingers for him. Disney usually does pretty well. Their live action stuff's been above par, I feel, lately. Pacific Rim 2, Mike, you're looking forward to it, but it's been pushed back to March 23rd, 2018.
What was the other date? I don't remember when it was supposed to come out.
I think it was like January. I think it was.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't have the original date, but I know it was pushed back. February, one whole month back.
I mean, that's probably a good sign. I mean, the closer you move it to the summer, I guess, the more hope you have in the movie. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, I know it was moved back, and then it's 1 week before Ready Player One, I think now. Mm-hmm. Which second weeks are hard to win, but I know it definitely it's March is a better month, I think, than late February. So
yeah, it's gonna have more competition, so that means that the studio's got to have more hope for the movie.
Yeah, knock on wood. I mean, it's not R-rated, so it can't be mid-February. It can't be Valentine's Day date movie, Mike. Gotta have that R rating for that these days.
Yeah.
So I hope we see more on this. I really want to see a first full trailer. Like I need to see some of this.
A real, not just kind of like the fake propaganda type trailer.
Yeah, I want to see these. I want to see why the kaiju are back, what the new ones look like, what's going on. Take me back to the Pacific Rim, Mike. I need to go there.
Take me back.
Yes. The Bumblebee movie, not B movie, Bumblebee movie, has added John Cena as the lead role.
Oh my God. This is crazy. I actually kind of want to see the movie now.
Oh, man. And it has a December 2018 release, Mike. So it's going to be bumping right up against Aquaman there.
Oh, my God. The only thing that's going to make me enjoy this movie is if somehow they try to embrace that John Cena meme.
Okay.
In the movie. Have you seen that meme or come across it?
I've never seen it. I've only seen pictures saying John Cena was in it, but I've never seen him in any of them.
Oh, so the John Cena meme is like when you're watching like a video or something.
So you're talking about the one where it's kind of like you get Rick rolled with the John Cena intro.
Yeah, exactly. But it's kind of like it ruins your ears.
I'm talking about the other one where like nobody sees John Cena like when he's in a photo. Like,
oh, I didn't know that was a meme.
Yeah, that's there's like two of them now. So
John Cena, the meme master. If they can somehow incorporate that into a movie, I just love John. I love to imagine John Cena's character being introduced in the movie somehow as accompanied by really loud trumpets, but just happenstance.
I mean, why even do this movie? Just why even? I don't even know anymore. Like I lost interest with John Cena, so Mike gained interest. We don't. Where's this gonna land? I don't even know.
I think
anymore.
they just need to double down on the broiness. So make sure that you're getting that primo Hot Pocket and Mountain Dew sponsorship for the movie. If John Cena is going to be in it, just go all in. Just have Bumblebee actually like join like a robot wrestling federation or something. Actually, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and pitch this movie. So,
okay.
The Transformers have been around long enough now, so now humans aren't really scared of them anymore. They're just kind of like palling around with them. You know, it's like, oh, they're just friends and buddies. You know, some of them are like, you know, they work for firefighters. You know, some of them are like cops now. They all got blue collar jobs, but some of them they're working in the entertainment industry. There's a whole robot fighting league out there now, and John Cena, he's like the organizer guy. He's like the boss that like puts them all together and organizes the robot fighting league. And you know, Bumblebee, he's fallen on the hard times, and you know, he's lost all of his friends, you know, all his other all of his Optimus buddies. They've all gone back to Cybertron or whatever. I don't even know where the movies are at anymore. I don't even know if they can go back.
I've lost where you are, Mike. Stream it down a little bit here.
But Bumblebee, he's just in this robot fighting league now, and that's how you bring John Cena in a movie. There you go.
Did you just pitch that Hugh Jackman movie where he fights robots?
Hugh Jackman can be in it too, man. He's not Wolverine anymore. He's got nothing to do, right?
Oh, man. So, all I know about the Bumblebee movie is I'm pretty sure it's set in the 80s. So, we got that going for me. But you did sell me on the Hot Pockets and Mountain Dew idea. And while you've been rambling on about whatever robots fighting, I looked up when Hot Pockets were created. Can you guess what year Hot Pockets were created, Mike?
Oh, is it in the 80s?
1983.
Hey, there you go, man.
So if you have Mountain Dew and Hot Pockets, they retro brand themselves to the 80s. What they look like in the 80s.
Man.
There it is.
We're already making money. We've already paid back the advertising budget just with this, man.
That's right. And you know what? If they use this idea, Mountain Dew and Hot Pockets, you listen to us, we want lifetime supplies of both of those.
Yeah. Basically, you just got to insulate yourself from all the risks that this movie could happen. If this movie flops, it doesn't matter because it's already made its money.
Yep, that's right. And you know what? You know what's going to even insulate the Transformers franchise even more, Mike?
What's that?
They are making animated movies, yet again, of Transformers that they're going to release theatrically.
What? What?
Yep.
I was kind of on board and didn't really think much about it when you said animated movie because I was like, oh, you know, just like a DC animated movie or like a Marvel one, you know, just coming straight to DVD, Blu-ray, but theatrically?
Yep. And then, so that's great. I mean, everyone loves the old animated, you know, Transformers movies, right? Well, sadly, these will be set in the live action universe, Mike. So
okay.
You got too excited too quick.
I mean, I just don't really get it because it's just like, obviously it's probably not going to be 2D animated just because they don't make 2D animated features anymore. So if it's going to be kind of like computer rendered, like half of the Transformer movies already are computer rendered. It's kind of like that argument of like, is the next Lion King movie actually live action or is it just all made in a computer, you know? So I don't know.
Yeah, it's very, very confusing. And then they're promising, I say they're threatening to do one a year in the theater after the initial launch. So one animated movie per year. They didn't say anything about live action ones, so they might alternate, but like I still think this is a threat. They're threatening us with Transformers movies, Mike, and I don't appreciate it one bit.
I feel like they're just like, fuck it. I mean, this just gets us closer to the crossover with like G.I. Joe and Fast and the Furious, which they're always pitching out there on the internet. So let's just do that. If they're just going to go off the deep end, just fold it in with Dominic Toretto.
Yeah, well, I mean, what The Rock is in the live action Transformers movie, or not live action Transformers, but the live action G.I. Joe.
Oh my God, they could be long lost twins.
Or it's the same character. He has Roadblock.
Okay.
And then they're driving the cars, which are Transformers. Oh my gosh, Mike,
Chris,
sign us up, people.
Hollywood, hire us.
Yeah,
to make your next Transformers
We're ideas
movie.
people. We can do this.
It's going to be awful, but it doesn't matter because you're already insulating yourself from the financial risk.
It can't be worse than hiring someone you already know who's going to charge. We'll charge you half of their salary. Let's do this.
Think about the marketing potential you have of two untested directors.
Yeah, well, we don't need to direct this, Mike. Don't put that on us. We'll be your idea. We'll be the producers. There you go.
Produced by Transformers 18, produced by Superhero Slate.
Okay, that's right. The Transformers versus G.I. Joe meets the Fast and the Furious.
Fast and the Furious. But I think we need to fold in one more out-of-bounds franchise. I don't care whether the studio owns it or not. What should we throw in there, Chris? Some sort of live. Maybe the Expendables. Maybe we can finally just expend them in the movie.
I think that's a little too far. It does. They both have Jason Statham in there, so I see where you're going.
You get too many twins and clones going up there.
What about the Transporter franchise?
Ooh, Transporter or the Terminator. Both. You know what? Just put them both in there.
You know what? Yeah, by 18, we'll have to have 2 more. So I agree.
Yeah.
Yep. Gosh.
Skynet meets Megatron, man.
Oh my gosh, you're blowing my mind here. But in all seriousness, what if one of these animated movies is Beast Wars?
Whoa. Okay, Chris.
All right,
you're making me more interested.
We're bringing it back around. We're less
well,
mad.
you did say it's in the same theatrical universe, and Beast Wars is kind of set before human times, I believe. So I mean, if they want to set this like in prehistoric
era,
you know? Yeah, there you go.
And then they meet Jurassic Park. Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh.
One of the robots is trapped in amber, and they're cloning robot dinosaurs.
Oh my god, that's what happens in Jurassic World 3 when they're trying to dig up some more mosquitoes. They dig up the Allspark.
Oh my god,
Chris, we got to end this.
Our idea, like, that could be a whole show in and of itself. Bad idea.
There we
Isn't
go.
that on Screen Junkies where they pitch bad movies to Doug Benson? So
yeah, I think that is one.
All right. Well, if you guys have any Transformers movie ideas that are batshit crazy, like the ones we just said, email them into us. We want to know.
Yeah, let us know.
So, Mike, if you end up drawing any of these ideas, wink, wink, so we can pitch them to studios, wink, wink, where can we find that at?
All right. Well, if you want to see any of my fan fiction Transformers storyboards, you can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter and Instagram, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to catch up with you and see what crazy stuff you're pitching out there in the world, where can they follow you?
You can find me on Twitter at Valdan, VALDAN. I'll post some stuff up there here and there as I get more pop vinyls. You know how it is. I'll put them on there as well because I'm waiting for that pop vinyl of the movie. Write me. I'll do it. I'll do it for cheap.
No, real quick, no one make a cool pop vinyl?
What?
When I was watching Return of the King, towards the end of the movie, Sam and Frodo put on disguises to look like orcs. They put on like the armor and stuff. That would make a cool pop vinyl. Sam and Frodo in orc armor. They
haven't done nearly as many Lord of the Rings ones as you'd think, weirdly enough. So maybe more. They just released a bunch of new ones. I got my brother the Balrog, and
that thing's awesome.
And then Gandalf from the bridge of Khazad-dûm there. So definitely, and I think we have a Twilight Ring Wraith floating around here somewhere. So
cool.
Yeah, he's pretty scary. He glows in the dark. So there's that. You can read stuff on Comic UI, listen to Film Side Chats, or check out the videos and stuff I'm doing on the DNN. So all over the place. Mike, your spiel for the end. Wrap it up here. Where can people find us? If this is their first show, they want to hear more, where can they find us at?
Well, as always, please visit superheroslate.com. That is the best place to find the show notes. So if you want to check out all these links and stuff we're talking about, you can get everything that we talked about on there. And you can see everywhere that we host the website, and you can see upcoming releases. So if you want to keep track of when all these movies are coming out, we got a page for that. We got everything, man. So you can find us on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Tumblr. You can follow us and get us right in your inbox through email. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, and you can pick up some Superhero Slate shirts at superheroslate.com/store. Superfan Jim just picked up a shirt, and we shared his classy photo on our Instagram page.
Looking good in it. Looking good in it.
Yeah, if you want to go check out Jim getting buff, check out his Instagram account. We tagged him over there. So, but yeah, if you're a fan of the show, please consider leaving us a review wherever you listen to the show. We really appreciate that. And we love the feedback. And if you want to be a super fan like Jim, pick up a t-shirt. All you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week.
Yes, especially next week. And
yes,
I think we're in August. Our next spoiler cast is still Kingsman. No, Inhumans, then Kingsman.
No, Defenders.
Oh shit, we're Defender. We're 2 weeks away from Defenders spoiler cast.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's coming up, man. This is like it's like a sneaky Avengers on our tail.
Oh, that's awesome. So that's gonna be great. So all right, well, I guess we'll catch you guys next week then.
All right, bye everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
And I opened it up, and it was on that screen where that gray screen with the loading bar that says installing updates, and I was just like, hey, I never told you could do that.